Broadcasting live from sunny South Florida, and the best way to start your Saturday. This is KMA Talk Radio. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of fine cigars. And now your KMA crew. The man with the scoop, William Cooper. Alex the Goat Tavella. And always telling it like it is, Honest Abe Dababneh.
I like to smoke them like the Winston Churchill. Like John Kennedy, yeah. Remember Coach Red Auerbach, smoked up for victory, yeah. Well, you can take my wife, you can take my car, but you can't take my big cigar. My cigar.
Good morning to all our loyal listeners, libertarians, and lovers of the leaf. Honest Abe here, and we are broadcasting KMA episode number 574 live on this beautiful Saturday morning. And with me in the studio today is our main man who is bringing you the news, rumor, and teaser-free William, the Scoop Cooper, and a very special guest in the studios today joining us for KMA Talk Radio. None other than the lovely Jessica Brandt. Oh, gotta let her in. There you go. Hey. Brandt. Jessica Brandt.
I know. Brandt. I saw that. I was like,
welcome.
Whatever.
Welcome. Yes. You know what's funny is we caught the spelling error, and I told the graphic guy to fix it, and he fixed it. But I guess Alex went in last night to make the link, and he didn't upload it to the Dropbox, so Alex didn't know where the art was to update it. So he went, instead of to earn the title of GOAT, because, I just put myself, what would I do if I was in his shoes, right? So to earn the title of GOAT, I would have just imported it into whatever program and just slapped right over her name a black box and typed in and then saved it and just used that as the image.
Yes.
That would have made you a GOAT, in my opinion. But
he was scrambling.
To go with the wrong spelling knowingly, that's not GOAT material.
It was funny. He messaged me late and was like, I just created the show. I apologized. I was like, oh, whatever, you got a lot going on.
Our man is a little overwhelmed.
Yeah. He's moving and moving, folks.
Yeah.
I think today's the moving day too.
Yeah.
I think today is moving day. So, I offered to help, but I said I had a radio show to do. I'm sorry. I believe once you're past 35, you don't offer anybody to help move.
No.
Especially 40s. When you're done in your 40s, that's it. You're done.
Right.
You're not moving Jesus.
No.
So.
No. Yeah. No more moves. You hire people for that.
Right? Seriously.
Yeah.
So Jess, how is the studio there? That studio is looking really
good. Yeah.
It is. We're still thinking about moving some stuff around, adding some other stuff, but Kevin's a little bit of a hoarder. So
you think?
At least now the garage is not the hoarding spot of everything. Now it has a place,
Wow.
So I think if I threw stuff away, he wouldn't notice.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I'm looking over Jess's right shoulder, and there's that J.C. Newman ashtray.
Hold on.
And, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
let's see.
Actually, it was the one behind. It was actually the one behind, the black one.
Yeah, there it is. I see it now.
I gave that one away. I raffled it off on Coop. That's one I'm like, I should have kept that one. That's the stork ashtray. That is such a nice ashtray. I'm like,
that is probably the ashtray we use the most.
It's beautiful. It's huge. It's actually it's a huge ashtray on top of that. But
it's pretty solid.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, after I put it up, once I said I'm giving it away, I had to give it away. But I was like, damn, I should have kept that.
Yeah, we got that when we did a tour. They did a whole entire group tour. They fed us. We got that. They gave us coffee and Cuban sandwiches and all kinds of stuff. And then we did a whole tour of the factory. And then they took us up to Jeff Borschowitz's farm and did a whole little meet and greet, and they fed us there too, and we got to go in the fields and stuff. It was a cool day.
Really today they're doing the one. I think today is the 130th, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah.
Actually, I'm traveling so I couldn't go unfortunately tonight. So, but yeah, I wish them the best because what they're doing in Tampa is great right now.
Yeah.
You're going to Dubai.
Dubai. Yeah, I leave for
Dubai.
Dubai I have to be at the airport like 4 a.m.
This is not your first time.
I went last year.
And how was it? Now you're going for work, I'm assuming.
I'm going for work. Yeah, day job stuff.
Did you get some free time?
This time I'm taking free time. Last year I couldn't take free time because the trip was in between Mother's Day and my wedding anniversary, and that would have been cool. This year's a little different, so
you should just bought your wife and said, "Hey, honey, I have an anniversary gift for you. We're going on a trip."
It's a little complex with these business trips sometimes, especially if they fall through to take her. And this wasn't
sometimes
a cheap one.
Fall through, yeah.
Yeah, they fall through. So sometimes it's a little tricky with that. I am gonna miss Mother's Day this year, but I got a little get out of jail free card because I traded something else off for my wife. So, but I'll be coming back Mother's Day. Yeah.
What are you missing Mother's Day for?
Yeah, just in general, like kids come over and stuff like that.
I know, but you said you're missing it. Where you going?
I'm coming back from Dubai that day.
Oh, you come back that day.
That's the day I get back. Yeah.
When you went there, did you get to do anything at all? And if you didn't, what is it that you're looking to do without a doubt this time?
Oh, I'm doing cigar stuff this time primarily. So
nothing else. You don't want to see the Burge or?
I'm gonna go do like a day of sightseeing around there. Most of my last time of the trip was around the hotel area, which pretty much I was just which had some great restaurants there and stuff. I'm not complaining, but I want to go see the downtown area, the Burge, like you said, the Burge, and definitely I want to check out some of the cigar places as well.
You're gonna look for that Dubai chocolate bar?
Yeah. I don't know if it'll probably melt coming back. No, I haven't, but it's got melt coming back. It's gonna be actually it's gonna be not bad. They say it's only gonna be about 100 because last year I was there with 115, so it wasn't looking better.
That's just insane.
Are you gonna have the famous Dubai chocolate?
I just asked that.
Oh,
was I on mute?
Oh, I didn't hear.
No, I heard it. No.
Oh, did you? Okay.
It sometimes doesn't come through. Yeah, that's what I want to have. I did not have it last time, and I want to have it. But there's no way I'm going to take it back because I'm sure it will melt. Is the thing if I try to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
and also it'd probably get crushed and everything. So
yeah.
I make it. I make it.
Oh wow.
You do not.
I do. I make it myself. I even have a mold. I even have packaging. I made it all for my kids' teachers for Christmas time, and we made it for a friend of ours who's really into it. That owns an Irish pub. He's like really into all this different chocolates. And so like I made him a whole bunch and he was like hunting for this chocolate like all the time now because he like is addicted to it.
And I love pistachios, so it's like it's a win for me. Like it's a win for me.
It's so good.
Yeah.
How many do you make at a time, Jess?
What's that?
How many do you make at a time?
Like 10 at a time. Yeah, I'll make you some.
I was just hinting, you know.
Yeah, KMA Christmas party, something.
Yeah. No, it's really good. I even do like the gold leaf and stuff. I get the edible gold leaf. I go make it all fancy, and it's got its own packaging.
It's amazing how social media could just blow shit out of the water, right? Shit goes viral, and now I go to New York, somebody's selling. You go to Miami here, someone's selling a Dubai chocolate bar. It's like
Costco has it, but I
they do not really.
Yeah, but I heard it's not the same.
It can't be.
That's probably like definitely more mass produced.
100%.
I think they're calling things Dubai chocolate with pistachio in it. I think that's what they're doing.
Dubai chocolate with pistachios.
Yeah. And like luckily we have like, markets around here too where you can pick up a lot of this stuff. A lot of these people have to order if they're making it at home online or Amazon or whatever because it's not something readily in their stores. But we have like a lot of ethnic, diversity and stuff. So you could buy all the ingredients. So
Amazon has Dubai chocolate bars?
It has the coffee, the
ingredients you need.
Yeah, the ingredients and like, the pistachio butter. I mean, you can make your own though. Like it is so easy to make your own pistachio butter.
I mean, I was saying shipping chocolate bars can't be.
There's a place to go to in Dubai to get it. That's where I'm gonna go. It's like dessert chocolatier or something like it's called. So that's where I'm going.
Yeah, they have one where it's pistachio ice cream with all the chocolate and stuff on top too. Like you don't have to do the chocolate bar, but they do it in different ways. Yeah. The strawberry ones. I want to do the strawberry ones now.
Well, I'm reading comments because I can't read the comments, so you guys got to pick out something if anything's relevant because I'm in the advertising screen. But just read, and we forgot to do what we're smoking today. Now, obviously, I'm not smoking, but the room is finally underway. Evan
All right.
Darnell. Well, I wanted to get a couple idea of layouts before I start ripping everything out of this room. And Kevin recommended a guy who Kevin do not recommend him again.
Wow.
Yeah, terrible. The guy reached out to me, made me send him pictures, made me measure the room, did all this shit, then made me text him ideas of what I liked and what I've seen online that I liked and whatever. That was like fucking 2 months ago. Hasn't gotten back to me. So
What guy was it?
I can't remember his name.
Oh,
But,
okay.
you know, I touched base with him a couple times. Oh, I got a big job. I'm gonna finish up. Yeah, Evan. Do not recommend that guy to anybody. He is the recommendation. He goes on the recommendation loser list. But I reached out to the lady that we used. Yeah, gotta be around 2020, 2021. Who designed the KMA studios when we were looking to actually build out a whole new studio for KMA. So she came over to the house, talked about it, got some ideas. So this thing's underway. So I'm hoping before the end of summer, I'll be able to smoke during this broadcast.
Oh, it's going to be so nice.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a nice feeling.
It's gonna change your whole.
I
smoking
know,
game.
man. It was one of the
Yeah.
times during the week I really just got to chill and do what we love to do: hang out, talk bullshit, and smoke cigars. And you know, I mean, granted, the hour and a half driving waste to just go to my office and do a show for 2 hours and come back and not be home. It's cool being here, but man, I really miss out on that part of not being able to light up during the show.
Yeah.
So on that note, Koopa, what you smoking?
I'm going with a Racist Cubanas. I think I may have went one. This is called the C5 Black. So Racist Cubanas has been formed by Ralph Montero, who used to be with Alec Bradley for many years. So I've been really digging their cigars. They were one of the finds at the trade show for me.
So I did make a comment, I believe a week ago or two ago. That was another new line that we had bought in.
Good move.
Yes.
I think this was a strong move.
I mean,
I've
that
been really,
new
I'm
line,
very
new
impressed
company,
with this.
new company. We bought
New
it.
company. Yeah, and then the Racist Cubanas is the factory that made a lot of Alec Bradley stuff. So they're partnered. The family's partnered with Ralph on that as well. I'm glad you brought these in. These are really good cigars. I'm very impressed with them.
Yes. So that came in, and West Tampa. We told everybody it's already up online, so you'll be able to.
And that's what I'm smoking is the West Tampa Red.
There you go.
There you go.
Posting up some of what our KMA crew and fans out there are
Frog
smoking.
juice. Oh, that's the Saka one, the frog
Mhm.
juice. I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
One of his store exclusives. And that pretty much, I think. Oop, why?
Oh, the Back in Blacks. Oh my gosh.
Right? There we go. Put my phone on silent. Speaking of frog juice and Dunbarton, what, you like that transition?
Yes.
Well, some retailer.
I'm gonna. Well, listen to me. Here's what I have. So,
Some industrious retailer.
Listen, we worked on this. We worked on getting this at the same time we worked on getting the Aganorsa Supreme Leaf International, and we've had that for months. So
why was anyone surprised about that? That's what I'm saying. Like,
oh no, we're surprised. I mean,
right.
I think most of the people knew who I had, but I had to give him a head. Are you coming to talk to me while I'm doing my broadcast? You want to watch? Okay, come on over here, watch. He my son started like shadowing my shoulder. I'm like, what are you doing? What were we talking about?
Saka.
People being surprised.
People being surprised.
Yeah, I don't think people were really surprised as much. I had to call Steve to give him a heads up because he didn't know when we were going to do it. He knew I was working on it, but you mean
I just got word today was not true? Is what?
No, that was legitimate. Like,
oh, okay.
We put it up at 11, and I was at the Wawa in the parking lot when I called him to tell him we were doing it at 11 at 10:15. So that was he really just heard. And honestly, I was prepping him because I knew he would get a bunch of calls because either people were going to cry or people were going to try to order it, not even knowing what it was. Right? There are those retailers out there who just aren't connected or have a clue what's going on. They're going to see it and just think it's some new line he's offering and call up to try to order some. So I just wanted to give him a heads up, but then he ended up making that post, which in Saka-esque fashion.
Yes.
But it was really funny because a couple things here. The Aganorsa one didn't do too well for it, so I was a little bit leery on it. But the difference was that, and I could be wrong. I think had I known this before I'd gotten it, I probably wouldn't have gotten it. But I think Terrence stated that the Aganorsa Supreme Leaf is just basically the same blend, a different size that they made for international.
I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Which is never really exciting for the consumer. Unless you're going something like, hey, I made it this cool figurado shape, or something. The line normally comes round, and you made a box pressed one. Okay, but a quarter inch bigger, quarter inch shorter. No one really getting excited. So Steve's line was a completely unique blend that he made for the overseas market. So I had a feeling it would do better, but you get worried with it because you get stuck with it. You're stuck with it, and we didn't even do our normal markup because I just felt like it'd be just crazy too much, So if we had done our normal markup on a box like that, it would have been like $358 was the number. But there's a lot, but you know what? It's really insane. So first off, I Googled for about an hour. So I could confidently say, although I'm not 100% sure, I'm not betting a dollar bill on this, that we are the first company in the world to sell it online.
I looked. I couldn't find it anywhere.
I looked everywhere, bro.
I
looked everywhere. Wasn't finding a thing. Because I'm trying to, just get a bearing on what the normal value it would be in Europe or wherever it gets distributed. So couldn't find anything. So then I'm trying to do the math, and there's a lot of the shipping and duties on this came out to about $47 per box. Per box. Now, that didn't include the duties of getting it out of the bonded warehouse in Europe, because that there's a fee to get it out of there. So what's funny is that somebody from Belgium, because I was really shocked. I thought 300 was going to be really expensive. Somebody in Belgium said that it was less expensive in America than it was in Europe. And I couldn't understand why, and I actually had to call Steve. So what happens is it's in the bonded warehouse. And the bonded warehouse is like centralized in Spain somewhere for all the countries. It's some weird setup they got. Mm-hmm. And you got to pay the fee to get it out of the bonded warehouse. But because it's not being sold in that country, the product isn't exposed to whatever that country's regulations or tax rates are, or whatever that is. So literally there was a guy in Belgium who said it costed more there than it did for me to bring it here to the States and sell it.
That's bananas. But people seek out the international cigars when they come here. It might not even really be a brand that they particularly care for, but they want it because it's international. Drew Estate stuff is really popular.
I know Drew Estate, but I never saw anybody bring it in to resell it. I know retailers who get a box or two. I know, but it's not in mass quantities. I never saw anybody. I saw retailers who got 2 or 3 boxes for their store. They bought it like a consumer, and whatnot. But if you did miss out on it, fear not. We have another 100 boxes already on the way. I actually called Steve up and said, "Man, I'm doing better sales business for you. I'm your best salesman in Europe. These guys are gonna have to order more." I wasn't sure they had another 100 boxes there.
Yeah, because one time when we were in St. Augustine, we found some of the Drew Estate international ones, and they only had a box, maybe with 10 left. So it's not something like what you're doing on that scale. I've never seen that.
It was definitely fun, but it was a cool experiment. For me, when I go on limbs like that, it's kind of cool to see how it affects. Will the Dunbarton customers still be interested in something? Yeah, I guess they are. I mean, I guess at this point, man, this guy could just cut up some wood logs and throw them in a box. And I guess his fans are coming out. I don't know. But yeah, they flocked to it. It sold out in 35 minutes. I was a little.
Oh, wow. Tim wants to know where in St. Augustine. Actually, I don't remember the name of the lounge, but if Care is on watching, Care might remember because he was there when that's who we went and visited. So, Care, if you're on, let him know what lounge that was where we found those.
logistical chaos. Yeah, it really wasn't. I mean, look, we luckily have an importer because we do a lot of importing of other stuff and swag and stuff for the Great Smoke. So doing a lot of importing helped the process, but it was interesting to learn all the different things you have to do to bring cigars back in the country. Are you all right, Coop? Are you losing sound?
No, it's just someone's
the sound
opened that door during the show, and they did.
I'm at home. I'm just I
Yeah.
get it here too. I just zone it out. The worst thing it could possibly happen
and then they leave it open.
The worst thing you possibly have is someone knock on the door, ring the doorbell because the dogs will go.
Well, it's the bay door, which is pretty loud. Yeah.
Wow. They're wondering if it was a new Leaf and Bean. Nope. There it is. Smokers Depot.
Oh, nice. That's right. Thank you, Care. Yeah, that was the only place in St. Augustine that really had, like, at the time when we went. I know there's other places more now, but some of the other ones were really small. That one had a pretty huge selection of cigars, but you wouldn't know because it's got all the vape stuff in the main window. Like, you would walk by it and be like, oh, they don't sell cigars, but they have a huge humidor in the back, but you wouldn't know it from the outside.
Do you make it a point to stop in a cigar shop anywhere you see one?
Yeah, I mean, we like to do that.
Cool.
We like to see it.
Yeah, as long as I'm on a schedule, I try to build it into a schedule when I do that. So it's a little tricky.
Okay, so you go. So there's a difference. You go cigar shop hunting.
I'll plan that ahead of time.
Now, are you putting something on your schedule that you've been to, know about, heard about, and want to go to, or do you look at an area and find out? Okay, while I'm in here, let me see what the local flavor is. Find places and then go to them. Or are you going there predetermined?
More predetermined. So like when we drove to New Orleans, we knew we were stopping in Biloxi. There was a place we knew we were going to stop in Biloxi for that.
What
so
store?
That was built in the cigar shop.
Okay.
Yeah. So and Ben on my team actually, he used to live in Biloxi. He knew that store well. I'd never been. I wanted to go there, so we went there. So that's something that I'll normally do. Sometimes when I'm driving down to Florida, I always try to get this. Whenever I get to smoke in driving to Miami, it seems like it's 10 o'clock at night, but I usually will get in there.
Right.
So I make sure I'm there before you guys close. But that's usually another one I'll do as well. I've stopped in some in Nashville, driving to Texas and things like that. There's a couple on the way up to New York I know as well that I'll stop at.
I don't really, me personally, I don't hunt them down. I don't typically will look for them because usually I'll bring my own cigars and but I will stop if I see one pretty much anywhere. I'll stop in, I'll look around, I'll talk to somebody if they're there. So it was really funny because I was in we went, what did we go to? Oh, we went to something on the West Coast. Oh, it was the party that Ray did for Steve Saka.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we went to Mouthhole Barbecue, had a great meal, great time. And then the morning of, we got a cup of coffee, right? And then there was something we wanted to go look at. We're driving around, and I see this cigar shop. Didn't even realize it was this new Sarasota store. I didn't even realize because I think they didn't even have their sign up yet, or they're having troubles getting their sign up yet. So I walked inside, it ended up being Jeff's store. So I went in and called Jeff, told him I was there. But yeah, if I see one, I have to stop. I don't really map it out unless there's like you said, some really historic one that I've known about in advance and I'm going to be in the area and I want to see it.
Yeah.
How about you, Jess?
Yeah, I mean, we don't really Kevin, of course, probably does more research than I do. But anytime we travel, we just make it a point oh, hey, let's Google and see what's near us and go check it out. If one's available, a lounge is available, just to kind of see what the locals are smoking and all that stuff. But I mean, I find it fun to hunt, go in and find these hole in the wall lounges that have stuff that they don't even remember that they have. Stuff's hidden in the back because, it's fun to find some rarities out there. So I look for that, but I don't ever predetermine if we're going to go to a lounge or not. We just kind of do it when we travel.
If I find something really nice, I'm blanking out in the moment. I can't remember now, but there's this awesome Speakeasy cigar lounge in New York that now I've been to 3 times. In fact, very hard to get into on a Saturday night. I actually had to call Paulie DeSilvio, who actually hooked me up. Thanks for that hookup, brother. The last time we went up there, Rockefeller Scott. God, I'm having a blackout. It's on my calendar. I got to look at it, but it really is, from what I understand, a real speakeasy that they found when they were doing some construction. They didn't even know it was there, and they really made it this posh, beautiful. And they do this live Sinatra show every Saturday night. That's like impossible to get into, standing room only, and they don't even let you stand. But it's a great place. So when I see something like that, I'll definitely like make it a point. Yeah, I want to go back there if I'm in New York, without a doubt. Probably wouldn't miss it. In fact, we're going back up to New York in June. I ended up getting those tickets to that Yes Chef Food Fest that we were talking about.
Nice.
Evan Darnell got me the skinny. So we're going up to the Yes Chef Food Fest. So gonna go up like Friday, come back Sunday.
So did you find out like if you have to pay for individual things, or is it all included?
So in the VIP tickets, they give you a certain number of food tickets so you can go. And so from what I understood, I think I said, if you don't go VIP, just don't go at all. VIP gets you in the whole event area like an hour early. Then you get even on the parking premises a half an hour for everybody. And then they have like unlimited food, caviar bumps, open bar, and the specialty stuff that's going on for VIPs. And then you get the food tickets to go like 3 or 4, I can't remember, 5, to get to the outside vendors. So like you want to go to Mama Two's or La Industrie, if they're there, pizza. I know Mama Two's is. You can go and get it there. So, I grew up, and anybody who, I don't even know if they still do this event anymore, which is really, really sad. But I grew up in Chicago, and one of the things every summer was the Taste of Chicago. And I don't know, I think you got to be at this point, like 50 hasn't been around 10, 15 years. You got to be at least in your 40s probably to say you have gone there at this point, because it really kind of died down. I don't even know if they still do it. But Taste of Chicago was one of the amazing food festivals. They shut down like the streets, like from like Soldier Field to Buckingham Fountain, and they would get live shows. Did you ever go, Coop?
I have not, and it's something I've wanted to go to.
So it used to be, growing up, it was a free event. So you just walked right in.
I've heard of it. This is like really famous, yeah.
It was huge. I'm talking about millions and millions of people. Millions and millions of people. I mean, it's just the photos, if you Google them from like the 90s and 80s, just mass bodies of people, Ferris wheels, and then they got great bands. Like they had great live music. And then you just buy your tickets and you go to Billy Goat's Tavern, the famous skit from Saturday Night Live. You get yourself a cheeseburger. You go to Gino's, get a slice of Chicago pizza. And like literally every restaurateur, famous place in Chicago was all throughout there. So you could, eat all day long. It was a great food festival. And it's always during July 4th weekend. So what's really cool is after you've had a day of gouging and eating, you'd walk down to Navy Pier, which obviously went across, out into Lake Michigan, find yourself a good spot you could park. And they would do this amazing fireworks show while piping in music from the Philharmonic. So it was really, it was a thing we did every time growing up. And I think early on when Brandy and I were dating, and before we had kids even, like it was July 4th weekend, we had nothing going on, like literally nothing going on. And we're trying to figure out what we're going to do for July 4th weekend. And I'm like, I know what we're going to do. I didn't even tell her. Booked us 2 tickets, went to Chicago. Took her. I didn't tell my family, didn't tell anybody we were coming to town. Got a hotel downtown. We went like on a Friday, came back Monday. Took her to Taste of Chicago, watched the fireworks show, went to Navy Pier, had a great time, and came home. One of the wonderful things you could do for a long time until you have kids.
Yeah.
That stopped. We used to just go up to New York to catch a Broadway show like once or twice a year, and that stopped for now. And now we're getting back into it, going back up to New York. We're going to see Operation Mincemeat. So, so when you travel, who's the planner? Is it you or your spouse?
Me or Coop?
But either one of you.
It's
Kevin.
My wife, Lisa. Yep.
Really?
No, it's Kevin. I am one of those people who likes to just kind of do whatever in the moment. I'm like, I just don't want to make any kind of plans and have it like be on a schedule structured thing at all. Like I'm on a whim. Kevin cannot stand that. He is like a clipboard. We have check to do lists.
This is my wife.
Coop, I really figured it'd be you.
Oh no, I'm like even with Dubai, you heard my answers how I'm winging it. But Italy, I believe it. When we went to Italy last year, at least I had everything laid out every day, time frames. Yeah, it was. I just went with it. Yeah, I'm like okay, whatever. You're taking the time to do it. I'll follow.
So I'm an immense planner and researcher. Like I had like a full sheet of notebook paper for each country when we went, each city when we went to Europe for Christmas break. And in fact, we broke our kids up into teams of two, and they had to do a PowerPoint presentation on 2 of the cities that we were visiting each before we went there, right? But it was a real problem for me and my wife early in the relationship because it was all like military timed. And I'm like one of these guys that can throw my schedule off. Let's go. And my wife is more like, all right, I need to wake up when I wake up. I'm not waking up on vacation on a set time. I need to have an afternoon nap. And so it was really early on. So then I learned. So now what I've done is I have all contingencies. I have the basic structure where nap time here, if somebody's tired. If not, we go here. If we get hungry, we have this option. We can't find fine dining. Here's some good street food we can go to. So it's a complete flex schedule with options. And then, so like if we're saying we're hungry and we don't want to go to a sit-down restaurant, I already have fucking great street food places or places we can go in real quick lined up if that's the situation at the time. So I've gotten really good at
You're a little bit better than Kevin. Kevin's definitely better now dealing with me, but Brandy and I are very similar. Like I am like easygoing, like whatever. I'm not trying to plan anything. Like I don't have any like idea really of like what I want to see. I just know I want to see stuff. So,
yeah, exactly, it's me.
So
so my wife used to hate it, but now she loves it. In fact, everybody loves it. The kids all love it. They got everything thought out. I mean, God forbid something ever happens to me. These people won't know how to vacation on their own. I mean, they'll be lost.
They'll have to hire like someone to be like
Seriously.
a tour guide.
But anyways, we're only going up Friday, Saturday, and we're coming back late Sunday. So I already have food options where we're going to go sit down and quick food in case we want, just a quick burger, like a Gotham burger or something. And then I make reservations. And then depending on whether they're cancelable or not, this is like a real fine one, just in case we want to go sit down. And if we decide to opt, I call them, I cancel it. So I got it planned out really good, but we picked out a Broadway show. So I was doing some research on what we wanted to see, because last time we're up there, we saw the Book of Mormon, which was fucking fantastic. If you haven't, I don't care if you like musicals or don't like musicals. I don't care if you've never seen a musical. Go see the Book of Mormon. If you don't die laughing, it's one of the best shows I've seen in a long time. Really, really good. But I picked this odd one out. I never heard of it. It was like a really indie one, but it sounded interesting. It's called Operation Mincemeat. And it's literally World War II genre, where it's based on a true story, where the MI6 and the Brits had this big covert operation to fake out Hitler, of fake information of where to deploy these troops. And this is a musical. So, yeah, I'll be interested to see how it is. But I've heard really good things about it. So that's the show we're going to catch, Operation Mincemeat. If anybody's seen it or heard it, let me know about it. I think it's going to be pretty good.
The irony of this whole conversation is I just told you like 5 minutes ago how I plan out going to a cigar store on the road. Yet when it comes to planning a vacation, I don't do anything with this.
Well, yeah, it's true.
I mean, I was kind of just thinking about that. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's what's important to you.
Yeah, when Kevin and I first started dating, he really didn't travel. Like he doesn't really do planes. He'd rather be in a car. But then I quickly learned going on car trips with Kevin is like death to me. I would rather be in a separate vehicle than him. He is the most boringest car travel road trip person. Like no loud music, no like hanging out, like just enjoying
it's a job. I'm
road
driving.
trip.
Well, you can smoke in the car, but you can smoke in the car, I bet, right?
But then he has, his podcast, and he's got like, and then he puts everything on cruise control. And I'm like, he is like an old man driving down the road. I'm like, you deserve to be in the slow lane, never the fast lane, because I would run you off the road. Like I have like stress being in a vehicle with him. Like, so we fly all the time now, like mostly if I can convince him. But yeah, so like I would just plan these trips. Like we went to Kentucky. We went ziplining in a cave. Like I just saw a billboard one time and was like, hey, let's like do that. So I'm like spontaneous type stuff. Kevin does not like that though. He has to know where he's at, what he's doing, what's around us. So now we kind of just balance each other out.
Spontaneous in my universe, I can't remember what trip it was. I'm like, man, I feel so unprepared. I didn't have no time to plan anything for this trip. And I just didn't have time. And, and then, but if it's like a 2-day weekend thing, you could go spontaneous. But like you're flying like fucking 16 hours to go to Europe, and you got like 2 days. And
Right.
Man, I don't want to be spontaneous, man. I want to get the most. I want to know the local food is, what food I should try, where I need to see, what's a must see, and then you just have backup plans, And
yeah, we've been planning a trip for when Kevin turns 50 to go to Ireland, because that's like a dream of his, and I want to go too. And so he's doing all the and I'm fine with that. Like, I'd rather be prepared for something like that. But if we're just going, a couple states away, like, I can care less. I
mean, the only time where it really, it's like, to me, where like I'll do it, even if it's a short trip, is New York. Because every time I go, there's so much I want to do.
Yeah.
I really gotta, all right, I ate here last time. Like last time I went to New York, I got a slice from La Industry, which is considered like the top slice place in New York. But the other one that's right up there with it's Mama 2. I didn't make it to Mama 2. So this time I'm definitely going to go to try to hit up Mama 2. And
when I was a teenager, I lived in Jersey, but we used to take it would be $1 to take the path into New York all the time. And so we would go to Washington Square Park, and there used to be where you can get a pizza for $1 and a drink for $1. So if you had $2, you could get, and the slice is like as big as your, face, it's huge. And I doubt that that's even still there.
Do you smoke more cigars when you're traveling?
Less.
I mean,
wow, this is like an easy question for me.
Yeah.
I would say I smoke less.
Yeah.
You smoke less while you're traveling.
I smoke less too.
Yeah.
Well, probably because you guys smoke a lot in your regular lives.
Right, and I have a place to smoke. That's the reason.
True.
Yeah, I might start smoking more once we get this thing in here. But I mean, no, I smoke way more. Like, I mean, I'm good for maybe 2 or 3 a week now.
Yeah.
Because for me, I really have to. I can't smoke it like a habit. I can't smoke a cigar like a machine, without being conscious of it. It's something I really like to sit down. So my whole entry into the cigar universe and how I used to do it, and I think I've talked about this before, and thinking back upon it, I have no idea how my parents let me get away with it, really. But I bought my first humidor. It was $300 for a piece of shit, like literally a piece of shit. I don't think they were importing shit from China. So like local carpenters were making shit humidors and charging $300 for it. And Captain York and Cigar King were like the 2 local shops. And I think I bought the humidor from Captain York. It was in Glenview, long gone. And bought myself some cigars. And I had cigars before this because I started in high school with Swisher Sweets after football games and stuff like that. But this is when I really started getting into the culture and lifestyle of it. And I had a humidor, and when my parents would go to bed, and this is like my early 20s, I'd come home from college. When my parents went to bed, I would just go grab a cigar, kick my feet up sitting in my dad's chair, which was, of course, directly in front of the TV, and I would just smoke a cigar. And I would do that almost every night before I go to bed. Every night. And that's how I kind of got into it. So that psychology of being able just to sit down, enjoy it, think about it, be conscious in the moment about it, it kind of stuck with me all these years. And I don't get a lot of those moments in my life. So when I travel, I will tend to smoke more cigars because I actually have that kind of time. But I'll never forget one time I fell asleep. I was tired. So I went to bed, and then I left like half a cigar in the ashtray. Okay. And of course, my mother woke up before me the next morning, cleaned everything up. The next night I come home, let me have a cigar. I open up the humidor, and my mother didn't want to throw out the half a cigar. She put it in the humidor with the ashes and everything on it.
Ooh, the smell.
Are you kidding me? It ruined the whole humidor. Every cigar smelled like an ashtray. It was over and done. I couldn't get mad at her. I mean, she didn't know. But
no, but I can only imagine.
I was very careful about cleaning up after myself before I go to bed.
Yeah.
To prevent that shit from happening.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Yeah, Tom's the same way. He smokes a lot more when he's traveling.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right though, because me and Coop, we do smoke quite a bit. Like,
Shit, you got your own cigar lounge,
that.
basically.
I know. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
but I'm also never one of those people who can like smoke and do yard work and be like building a cabinet with the cigar. I can't breathe if I'm
Even
like,
golf.
moving around.
Even golf, like that would bother me. Now I got to put it down, pick it up, put it down, pick it up, find a place. Fuck that. I do not understand. And some of you golfers out there could tell me because I'm sure there's shitloads of you.
Yeah.
It just seems like the cigar becomes such a burden if you're golfing. The only really activity that I could really like enjoy is like if I'm playing a game of poker, sitting at a table. Then it's just right.
Right.
Then it's just right.
Yeah.
But these guys who golf and smoke cigars can't do it.
Yeah.
I don't even golf, but I've been on a golf course and whatever, and I tried it once. And watching other guys, I'm like, this just looks insane. I don't. You're dropping it. It's getting wet. Just like it's just too much.
So, what do you like want in your like smoking area when it's done? Are you going to have like a couch? You're going to have some chairs? Like, how are you envisioning your space?
It's a dining room, so it's not a mega space, but it's just it's a nice sized room. So I plan on I have high school books still, books from high school. So I plan on unboxing a lot of my books and kind of having a little library bookshelf behind me with little areas I could, I got some trinkets or whatever I want to show off and cool stuff. And then obviously a nice desk and table and computer where I'll do my work and I'll do my podcast from there. And I won't need a green screen anymore because my background should be a pretty cool book library with some, cigar accoutrements. Then the woman I met is going to do a couple layouts where maybe 2 chairs on the desk or a sofa, definitely a bar. I got bottles just lined up on a cabinet here, just in front of me. So definitely some kind of little bar, probably in this corner over here, and not a stand-up bar where you stand behind it, just a mixing bar, right? Shelf full of booze, ice bucket. You go, you make your own drinks, and you go back and sit down over here.
Yeah, because they even make some really cool like carts and stuff that are very, efficient.
But I got a lot of bottles, so I'm probably gonna have to build like a wall unit where I could store all the bottles.
Oh, that'd be cool, and then have like a cabinet,
little countertop with cabinet underneath where the glasses may be, and then a little place to make a drink or whatever. But I mean, believe me, there'll be photos when I'm done. But I'm really excited because Coop will attest to this, right?
Yeah,
Coop will attest to this. As a father and a husband, I think the majority of real men, we don't do a lot for ourselves. We'll build a fucking playroom for the kids. Wife will get an arts and crafts room before we do shit for ourselves. It's just how we wired, right? We're here to provide. So this is like the first thing I'm really doing for myself. Like since we've lived in this house, I'm very excited.
Yeah. I mean, it's most, and I'll put that on me. I'm not blaming anyone else. Like I don't.
No, that's how we're wired. We do that.
We're just wired. Yeah.
We just put ourselves last. I mean, we just, we want to take care of the kids, take care of the wife, make sure they're happy, and we just put ourselves last. So. For Brandy to come to me and say, "Oh, look at this guy." Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Okay, buddy.
Oh boy, look who's. He's got to have a Disney room. Tell me he doesn't have a Disney room at this house. Yeah.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
There's one thing I could vouch for Paul.
Paul, we're talking about.
He is last, and when I say last, probably behind.
I would.
The dogs rank higher.
I was going to say the dogs are.
Yeah, rank higher than him in the family hierarchy. So,
but you notice like this hidden Disney room at the Gracco mansion, right? So
it ain't hidden because she's a Disney freak too.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh yeah, they're
both the whole family.
Bro, hold on. It would be very weird.
He said, "I do have an office."
It'd be very weird for a couple to be together. And then one of them's a Disney freak.
True.
Because if you're a couple and one of you's a Disney freak, you got to be looking at your partner half the time like this person's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? If you're not a Disney freak yourself. So I think you Disney freaks just got to be together because I don't think a normal person will understand the insanity.
Yeah, my aunt and her family, they don't even live here, but they come here all the time. They did all of like the pin. They were like hunt pins down and they come like at least like 10 times a year and do all this Disney stuff. And I could never understand it. And we live here. So we would just get like a day pass, go up. And I'm like, yeah, I hate Disney. Like I hate the crowds. Like it's not fun. We like Universal Studios. Universal Studios is way better to go and do. Disney for us is like, no.
Disney's only good if you have little kids and little girls. That's pretty much it,
Yeah.
you know. And we did the one Disney trip when Asher was like 1 year old for the little girls. Then when we went back when we were 10, the only thing we took them to Disney for was like a half a day really early because we had the fireworks show and the castle show. But we took them to Islands of Adventure, Universal, all that shit because they're at that age and it was way more fun for them.
That was
right
ours,
now. Yeah, you too, Coop. Like
Yep.
just like I did Disney growing up, but the Disney, from my generation till now, is way different. And so, but Universal Studios is amazing. They just opened up their new part of the park, the Epic Universe, which I'm super excited to go and actually see and do. It's all Super Mario Brothers. They got the How to Train Your Dragon stuff. It's like a whole epic thing. And then I think Disney's supposed to build a whole villains park, and I would probably go and do that just to see it.
Universal used to have a cigar place in
They
Universal.
did.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I mean, Disney had the one on downtown Disney, but I mean, in Universal, I remember going to that cigar place. That's why. This was like about 15 years ago.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. Journalism.
Therapy.
Journalism. What else? It's the favorite. Well, publisher. So, but journalism.
I didn't realize we got the Derby this weekend.
Yeah.
Is that today or tomorrow?
It's today.
Okay.
Now, are you guys big Derby fans?
I was when I was a kid because my dad was really into it, and he used to take me to the racetracks when I was a kid to bet on horses. So, but now as an adult, I haven't ever gotten into it.
Very big. My dad, same thing. My dad in New York, horse racing is very big. Say the off-track betting, but my dad was into the whole thing about horse racing in general. He just loved horses and loved animals, and he was really into it. So I'd go to the Belmont a lot.
Yep.
The Belmont Stakes and it's a beautiful Belmont, by the way, beautiful park. So I'm into the Derby for sure. But again, it's not the betting piece as much. I do just love.
So do you know the horses that are racing?
Some. I don't know them all. Jack Tarano knows.
You're really into it. If you know like the names of the horses.
Jack Tarano is the horse racing expert, one of the horse racing experts in the cigar industry. I'll tell you that. Him and his wife.
Is this true? Did you type this and not say it? Oh no, that's Kevin. I thought it was I thought it was Cigar Coop.
I know.
You may be right.
Descendant of this.
That's not the truth, is it?
No, he's being.
So,
he doesn't know. Kevin in animals and outdoors is not a thing. He wouldn't know.
What was funny is there was a time where Alex almost got his whole ear bit off by a horse. We were, it was funny. We were at Rocky's 50th birthday, which they rented out some huge estate. Somebody that owned it out in the West Coast somewhere. And this is like some rich friend of his, customer. I mean, they had stables, they had this, they had that. It was insane. And epic night though, but they had this circular stable area, and all the horses are in there, and the heads are sticking out. So we're up there, and I say, "Hey, come take a picture." So Alex literally leans up against the stable, the horse's head right here, and then you see the horse go.
Oh, and they'll bite down.
I heard the teeth hit. Almost lost an ear.
Yeah, they're saying it might be true. Kevin's saying it's true, and then Gary Brooks is like, Kevin's probably Googling it. It's probably true. Who knows?
Ron, I wouldn't put the Derby on my calendar. I have relevant information on my calendar, not a Derby, Ron. This guy's trying to teach me about a calendar. Here, look how many green dots are on my calendar. I know how to use a calendar, Ron.
Yeah, it's a big sports weekend because it's also the Formula One in Miami, which I got out of going this year. I had to work that for my company in a couple of years. It's a lot of work, so because I'm traveling, so I'm missing that. Luckily, so that was not fun to work. So
having a cigar shop, I watched every Derby because all our patrons would they would even have their inner shop bets and shit, and so I watched every Derby, and we would make mint juleps and whatever. But
yeah,
I would never ever watch the Derby or care, but it's a bucket list for me to go to one.
Yes, me too. I do have it. When we went to Kentucky,
my friends at Altus were supposed to hook me up because they got a lounge there, but I didn't hear back from anybody this year. Raphael.
I've not been to the Derby, but I've been to
Raphael about it. It was someone else at the company, so I don't want.
Yeah.
Have you been, Coop?
Not to the Derby, but I've been to Churchill. It's a very old track.
that's what-
I've been to the Belmont and
what
the
we did.
Preakness. I've been to, but not the Derby.
So that's what me and Kevin did. We even got to go and walk around when we were in Kentucky and got to see the track and stuff. But I'd love to actually go like when the Derby's happening. I think that would be really neat.
First off, I already own a few hats I could wear, but that's my wife's thing. She's dying to buy a hat to wear.
I love that.
To
I
the
love that
Derby.
though. I love the hats and the dresses. I think it's great. I think it just adds just kind of a whole.
I love that they do the tradition still. Like,
yeah, I love that. Yeah,
yeah, me too.
I'm gonna see if I can make it happen next year. But I want to know the ins and outs. When you do something this historic, which like I don't see myself ever doing the Kentucky Derby again, right? It's gonna be like a one and done thing. So I don't want to miss out. So I really want. I gotta get the ins and outs of what you really got to do when you go to the Derby and how to do it.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, Louisville's a great city. I've been to Louisville. It's a great city too.
Yeah, it is. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
We did a whole entire tour there of all the old homes because the
Yeah.
architect is like a Mod Podge of different eras and stuff. And it like you could learn a lot of history. I don't think people realize like the World Show was there too at one point, like how they had it in New York, they had it in Kentucky, and it stayed there for like, I don't know, like 20 years. Like the World's Fair for that area. And that was really neat information. Like I would have never have known that. So definitely cool.
See, like little tidbits like this. This is what I got to research before I go to really figure out what's the best way to go, and then start reaching out to any friends I know who might have any connections. Raphael. That could make things happen.
They had a Derby cigar. Actually, we'll talk about that in the news piece. There's a Derby cigar they have this year.
We just put it up online last week.
Yep.
It's really funny. Someone messaged me if we carry it, so I replied, "We have a really cool thing. It's called a search feature. You just type in the word Kentucky, it'll take you right to this page." Yeah, listen, I feel I'm entitled to be a little more sarcastic if you're PMing me about simple customer service questions. Who did the search, Bobby? Search first, at least. Tell me you couldn't find it. Tell me you tried. Show me that you tried first, for the love of God.
I think it's just sometimes I don't know. People get excited or they don't like.
Of instant gratification of, hey, Alexa, hey, Siri. I'm not your Alexa.
I know.
I'm not your Siri.
Yeah.
I tried to Google everything.
But that's what it is. They want to ask a question, get an answer right away from somebody. Not let me go, hit the site, maybe throw a couple. I mean, look, sometimes shit's broken, don't work right on our site, whatever. Because I'll check it before I reply to somebody. I'm like, type in Kentucky, K-E. Whoop! Hey, fuck, look, there it is, right there, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
So
who knew?
Who knew that shit worked?
Yeah.
Who knew? Well, I'll still go. No, either way. That won't keep me from going, Ron. Don't worry. I just got Wes's Alexa going.
That's funny.
Hey, Alexa, put on porn. I wonder, would Alexa do that?
I don't know. Sometimes she's.
I gotta admit, I haven't tried that. So.
Like even if you ask her sometimes basic stuff, she's like, "I can't do that today," and I'm like, "Now you're deciding what you can and cannot do." It's funny.
Oh, get out of here! It did not show you porn.
That's funny.
If someone did try this, I'm not sure they would admit it.
Oh no, there's people out there that will admit it. There are people out there that would gladly, especially like some of the women cigar smokers, to gain some, attraction. I'm sure we'll be posting that cigar.
Really?
Yes, I see it all the time, especially on Instagram. Sometimes I'm just like, what's the point? Like, just enjoy your cigars, live your life. Like, I don't know. Everything's now sexualized so much.
Jess, man, I gotta tell you, this episode is like the most of me just chilling in a cigar lounge, BSing, that I felt for a long time. Like I don't even feel like I'm doing KMA, other than that I fucking got to do the work with the commercials and all the other bullshit.
Nice.
But this has been going. This has been a great show so far.
Great show. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's very laid back. I'm enjoying myself. We're chit-chatting about everything. So we're going to have more of this awesome conversation coming up in hour number 2, along with all our little segments that you all love, especially the news with Scoop, the Scoop with Coop, the news with Scoop. That's what happens when I'm trying to look for the commercials as I'm working. Where are they? Here they are. All right, don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. Phenomenal. 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 Honest Abe here with the GOAT to tell you about Smokin's Cigar of the Month Club. Alex, tell our fans out there why our club is the best darn club out there.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you why. Because every month I personally handpick 5 premium cigars. No filler, no fluff, no fugazis. These are all premium handmade name brands that you can find in any brick and mortar store in your area. All delivered to your door for $34.95. And our average monthly retail value since the inception of our club has been almost $57. Another great feature of our Cigar of the Month Club, Alex, tell them about the ease of our Cigar of the Month Club. Sure. I'll tell you, I hate subscription services. It's always a pain to cancel them, turning them on. We've made it super simple. All you gotta do is log into your account. There's a little green button there. If it's green, you're active. You want to take a break, you're going out of town, simply hit the button and you'll deactivate your membership. Want to turn it back on? The exact same easy process. You can turn it right back on. We've made it that easy for you. Another great feature is our Double Down Club. Alex, tell them about the Double Down Club. We had so many of our members reach out to us who really enjoyed our selections every month that they wanted to know there was a way they can get 2. And we've made that very simple. With a simple check mark, you can get double this great selections every month and save $10. Does our club have perks? Of course it has perks. You want to tell them about the perks? As a member of our club, every month there's a special discount code where if you like any of the selections, we will offer them to you, so you want to come and get some more, you can get them at a special discounted rate for our Cigar of the Month Club members. And finally, expedited shipping. Tell them how fast we get the stuff out, Alex. We get the stuff out on the 28th of every month. Our membership bills on the 28th, and we get every member's package out on the 28th if it's a shipping day. 5 great reasons on what makes Smokin's Cigar of the Month Club the best club out there. Check it out. Peace. Hey, I really appreciate you doing the video with me. Thanks.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. I mean, you didn't let me get a word in, but whatever. What? Well, great. It's perfect.
Welcome back to hour 2 of KMA Talk Radio, episode number 574, which means we're half a year away from 600.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. There he is. He's back. We're putting you on. Hang on, Coop. There he is.
Didn't have the timer on. Sorry.
It's all right. There he is. William Scoop Cooper, and sitting very special guest with us this Saturday morning, Jessica Schaefer Brandt. Thank you, Jess, for joining us as a special guest host on KMA Talk Radio. And my son. Anyways, you know what we didn't talk about in the first hour before we get into Name That Jam? You did a podcast last night. No, what'd you do? That's not the one I wanted. It's all right, buddy. You're good. You're good. Something about boys, bro. I'm telling you something about boys. You know, after three girls, the boys just something's wrong with them. I don't know if we were. I don't know if we're the same way growing up. Were we that thick? Were we that just like unattentive? Couldn't hear anything? Couldn't see anything? God forbid you tell them to find something somewhere. I mean,
I will tell you though, as a boy mom of 2, and I have a daughter, I love her, but I would gladly had another boy. I
really
have most difficult, and she's also the middle, poor thing. But like, yeah, so
my middle one's a problem too.
Whew.
I never believed in that.
I'm a middle child, so I can't really talk.
Yeah.
I never believed in that until I had kids.
Yeah, middle child syndrome is real.
I thought that was some Brady Bunch bullshit there.
Nope.
And then nope.
It's a real thing. Yeah, she's very Eeyore-ish. Like, woe is me, but like there's the world is like crushing you sometimes. Like you're being dismissed or overlooked. Because I know that my daughter has said that, and I'm like, and I think I felt that way too as being a middle child. Like my older sister got stuff, my younger brother was the baby, so I just kind of fell like short. I felt sometimes.
Really, that's so interesting.
Girl, no, see, yeah, I love my boys.
No child has tested my patience and my son. None of them. If I combined all the grief all 3 girls gave me, it doesn't equate to the son that I begged God for and prayed for to get.
Yeah,
it doesn't equate to all the just like every day.
Chris says we always say we'd take 100 boys over 1 girl. Our daughter's the reason I'm bald.
Really?
I'm telling you, I love my daughter, especially now. Like we have such a great. We took a long time to get there, though. Oh man, it was challenging.
I guess I'm just really lucky with Petra.
Yeah, no, you and Petra's relationship is amazing, especially just amazing. Like the glimpse that everybody gets to see is like such a cool bond that you guys have. I love that. I have that with my oldest son, like that. We have such a great bond. I
really must be really lucky because we relate the most. She went up to Cocoa Beach with her friends who had track meet, and her friends' parents have a condo up there. So she texted me last night, "Good night, Daddy." I told her sweet dreams. She texted me first thing in the morning. And I miss her not being around this weekend, which is giving me a little glimpse of a year from now when she goes to college. I think I'm going to have to really start taking some antidepressant medication.
It hurts. It hurts when they go. I talked to my son.
Don't get me wrong. There's a couple of them. I wish they'd go to college tomorrow. But
yeah, and I talked to my son who's in the military, which is challenging, especially when he was overseas. Like, but we still found a way to like text each other at least 4 times a week, if we couldn't talk every day. It's weird. I miss him immensely, but I'm very proud of him. So, but it hurts in the very beginning. There's no words.
I miss people. So like, Coop, when you used to go out somewhere and like go for the ride, whether it was to the gas station or whatever, was there one kid that all right, 2 times the charm. Is there one kid that you would more often or not say, "Hey, you want to go for a ride"?
My 2 youngers were the ones that tended to be the ones that wanted to do that. And then they actually wanted to go to the Cigar Lounge where they had an outdoor patio. And they liked going there because, and it was outdoors. Again, they weren't in the shop or anything, but they liked it because they were treated they felt like they were being treated like adults, which I thought was very
kids love that shit.
Of course, it was like an ice cream store there or something like that. They can get stuff, so they like that as pizza. So but they like that a lot. So they were the 2. My daughter for a while was definitely, she's the oldest. We're the opposite of Abe, a girl and 3 boys. She'd ride shotgun sometimes, on things as well. But then you get older, it changes.
Mm-hmm.
Petra always, and my son, the middle girl, like thinks like I'm like a creeper asking for candy on the side of the road. She ain't taking a ride with me nowhere. And the baby girl, indifferent. She just man, all right, yeah. But Asher and Petra always want to go. Always want to go.
I love that. It's funny.
It's really unfortunate that we had 4 kids, because you really get the different dynamic and different relationship with each one that's really completely different. It's really something.
Yeah.
It's
All right.
But it's interesting because I'm the middle child, but I had the closest relationship with my dad. Like, even still to this day, like, I am a daddy's girl. And my sister is not. Like, my dad and her don't have, like, a close relationship, but she does with my mom. And my brother's wild. So everyone's just always trying to rein him in. So.
It's really funny. It's really funny because growing up, you know, even before you have kids, you can't conceive, like when you saw your friends or somebody who didn't have a good relationship with their parents, like, you know, it depends on where the household you come from, but like from the household, like, you know, how could that be? How could you not have a good relationship with your parents? It's just so odd. But I could see one of my kids not being close with me growing up out of the four.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's no law, you know, don't love her any less, not going to take care of her any less, but, you know.
But is she very independent?
You know, it's very funny. It's really weird because she's mentally strong and weak. She's independent and not. So it's kind of weird. So yeah,
So she's independent but very emotional.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. But
Yeah.
that's the beauty of life. C'est la vie.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, it's that time. Our friends over at Owl Cigars. How are you? How's your musical acumen, Jess? Are you a music person?
I love music, but I've seen the show so many times that, like, I get mad because I know it, but then I can't get it out of my brain. And so it's gonna be interesting to see how well I do.
All right. Well, it's time to test the musical acumen. It's brought to you by the fine folks at Avo Cigars. It's time to see if you could name that jam. All right. We got a video clip here, the GOAT. I have no idea what it is,
Nope.
you know, what he
Hopefully
done.
it's better than last week's.
Well, you know, he's got really no excuse now because I think he's broadcasting this from his new home. But we'll see. We'll see what kind of effort he put into it this week. Here we go.
All right, folks, it's time for another segment of Name That Jam, sponsored by Avo Cigars. This week, I got one set of lyrics, one song. I'm going to read it to you as mundanely as possible, and you need to tell me the artist and the song. All right, here we go. Keep your eyes on the road, your hand upon the wheel. Keep your eyes on the road, your hand upon the wheel. Yeah, we're going to the Roadhouse, and we're going to have a real good time.
That was
all right, folks. It's
so easy.
He gave it away.
That was so easy.
Yeah, this is
I
was having a struggle till he said something at the end that gave it away.
I knew it. Well, yeah, I know, but I knew it in the first two lines.
Not me.
The first two lines, as soon as he said it, I knew what it
Probably
was.
pre-Jessica.
It might be. I mean, I did just turn 47, but you know,
I'm seeing answers already correct.
It's probably before me.
Yeah. This is one of the very few times this was like a complete gimme. I knew.
Yeah,
the Roadhouse made me think of the movie.
That was what gave it away. Was
on the road, your hands upon the wheel. Let's see. Here we go. Let's see. Here we go.
all right, folks. I'm not on the show to know, but I am certainly under the belief that somebody got Roadhouse Blues by the Doors. So that's our Name That Jam for this week. I personally will be back next week. See you guys then.
We got your answer.
Not somebody, almost everybody.
Yeah, not me. And I thought I would have known it, but nope.
You were under pressure, Jess. You were under pressure.
Yeah, no, I know. But it's funny because there's sometimes where, like, you know, there's certain things that just stick with you and you can, like, it pops in your head. But like other things, when you're trying to overthink it, it's like you draw a blank. So, But yeah, but your Coop, I would never want to go up against you
No.
in any music situation. You
I
know
don't know.
your stuff though. Like you know it. It's
I
like
I get
on it.
some easy things wrong though. I'll tell you that. So I appreciate it, but yeah, I gotten some slam dunks wrong on this. So you
yeah.
never know.
But it's impressive, like just your music knowledge and just like even you being able to like name just certain albums and years and all that stuff. Like that's beyond.
Well,
Like,
thanks. It's I said I had a little background with my father. He was a limo driver for CBS Records, so
yeah.
that kind of played a lot into how I got to know a lot of stuff. But I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. No, it's definitely impressive.
Speaking about knowing a lot of stuff, you knew a lot of stuff last night. You did somebody else's podcast.
Yes, I did the Dojo podcast. Their cigar stock market. We had on McTavish was on, the Mountie, and our former co-host Juan Cancel was on last night.
Yeah. Juan seems to be more of a night person than he is a morning person. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Yep.
So, is this the one where you say buy, sell, hold?
Yes.
I love watching this. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. So
They put a lot of what they call penny stocks in last night, which was more than they normally do.
like small, really small brands.
Yeah, there were a couple I even had to do some research on before the show. So
Really?
yeah, which I was surprised about. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, so I was a little surprised on that, but they did about 10 of those, and I think they did 15 what they call blue chips.
All right. Biggest shocker of the night.
Illusione got a big sell.
Oh yeah.
And look, they make great cigars. This is like, but a lot of it had to do with, again, the marketing. And I wasn't as negative on the rebrand as some of the other folks were, but yeah, they seem to be, they were the one that surprised me the most because this is Illusione and Dion we're talking about. They make great cigars. So
They make great cigars, but I still see Dion as a retailer when I look at him. When I look at Dion, I see retailer first before I see manufacturer. That's the internal.
That's
feeling.
because he's mysterious too, though. He's not. He doesn't really do public stuff.
Doesn't work for you if you want to be a manufacturer.
yeah, you have to, I think, do a little more. Dion, like I've interviewed Dion. I saw Kevin has interviewed Dion. And when you get Dion, and we've interviewed Dion KMA,
He's great.
Get him. He's great if you get him. But there's times he just doesn't want to be ballsed. Is what I've seen too.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I've seen is that's been a little bit of a problem, where it's not quite the access you want.
I think Dion and Illusione Cigars was catapulted into the mainstream by Cigar Aficionado. It put him on the map.
Absolutely.
Everybody started following it, and then Cigar Aficionado kept talking about it for a while, this and that. But then that love, or it started to fade, and as that attention started fading, there was nothing else talking about Illusione, not even Dion, and that's the truth. And I think a lot of other people, got noticed, and that's what happened. It has nothing to do with the cigars.
Nope, his cigars are fantastic.
The cigars are fantastic. There's never the issue with the cigars. He's one of the best.
But I said, what was the biggest shocker? That's not a shocker. I got to imagine you were all on agreement.
It was mostly an agreement. I thought there would be some in favor of it. That's what I'm kind of going. It was almost unanimous. That's kind of where that's what surprised me about.
With Juan being, but that wouldn't have been a shocker to me. But with Juan being on the show, I have to assume that somebody made an absurd trade or move that no one agreed with. That's the shock.
Well, the big divide was Aganorsa. There was a lot of tension on the Aganorsa pick last night, and John and I were sells on that, and the Dojo guys are obviously very high on that, and that was a big one.
So where was Juan?
I forget where Juan was on that.
Yeah, I forget where he is all the time.
Yeah, that one I think he might have held it and kind of stayed safe. I don't think he sold it. Yeah,
but that was the big controversy for the night.
That was definitely that. I sold off Warped completely last night. I was like, I'm done with Warped. So that was I was probably the most negative on Warped last night because I just think my question to the panel was, Warp's been around for 11 years, and they have not had a consistent core line stay in the market.
This is
for
a
11
core
years.
line. I think they've lost in popularity and
They
diminished in
seem-
10 years.
I think they have too. I think I said the luster is worn off with them. It's not what it
You
was.
have very few warped people out there that are like die hard. Like I barely know
They should
hardly any.
They were on the pace to become the next Tatuaje in my book. Like the way they started off the first couple
What
of years.
happened is he got that same jump start and launch, but then just went.
Yeah.
Look, this is all I gotta say. Look, there's a lot of times I say this to my staff because they think if I don't come to that particular store or whatever, that I have no clue what's going on while I'm not there. And there's a skill set that people can have where you could see the small brush strokes of something and get the big picture quicker than other people, right? Little observational things, how someone behaves, how someone talks. All I needed to know about Kyle was the guy's in my backyard. He lives in the city where my first location basically is Jupiter, and I've never seen the guy. He came to KMA once when we had Boynton Beach, but like if I'm building a brand, I'm going to these shops. I'm hanging out with these shops. I'm socializing. Every manufacturer has a home-based shop.
Yep.
Literally, that's the shop I go to hang out in or wherever I want to just have a cigar or whatever. That told me pretty much everything I kind of need to know about where this kid was going to go with his brand. He just was more thrilled about his bespoke suit than about building the brand and talking about the brand.
Yeah, but Mark Williams is right too. He said Kyle is a lot like Dion with no public presence.
Yeah, he's right on that.
There really isn't,
By design.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could tell you we were all really positive on Davidoff this year, and some of us haven't been in the past, but the only negative on Davidoff was Juan last night. He was the only sell he gave on that, which made no sense.
Well,
because I don't like him.
Because Eddie Guerra, the guy, I love that guy. He left. So Juan's
he didn't become president.
Davidoff
Exactly.
lost as a company because Eddie Guerra is not.
Eddie Guerra didn't get named president.
Yeah, he wasn't made president. I love that guy.
Yeah, but he did.
I
I mean, yeah.
That's a little interesting though. Like I'm not a huge Davidoff fan because the cigars themselves are not really in my wheelhouse. I find them to be a little too mild at times for me, but they are good
some
cigars.
Of their other pillar series like Escurio and Nicaragua and Millennium.
I like the late hour. The late hour is a really good cigar. Like I would gravitate towards that, but like I'm just not a huge Davidoff like cigar smoker, but I can appreciate their cigars. I know they're good cigars. So,
Yeah, and I think
with like Padron, I'm not a huge Padron smoker either.
I think the point last night was, would you invest like as a stock? If you had stock in the company, would you invest? And at least me coming out of the trade show, I said, you know what? They came back to the trade show really good this year. So no, I think they do need a new core line. Don't get me wrong; they haven't had a core line since late hour. But Davidoff says, but
you mean they need a new core line under the white label?
I think they need a core line under the black label.
I was gonna say black label.
I think black label is going to reach a different base of consumer. And like my idea was black label Mexico. That's where I think they need to go.
That would be interesting.
There's a lot of Mexican. Now it's kind of funny how people love Mexican tobacco now, but you do a Mexican wrapper on, and they work with Mexican tobacco. It's not like they don't, but they use it as filler mostly.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Avo as a brand? Where is it?
They are stuck a little. They did that whole thing with the DJ.
Has it survived the death of? I mean, it's survived, but has the death of Avo and passing of Avo Vizian hurt the brand?
It's hurt. It's definitely hurt. Yeah. Now Avo 100 is going to be next year, so we'll see what they have. This is a big opportunity for them. Avo Centennial. Let's see what they can do. They brought a new brand manager in from Altadis, who's very good. I know Gabrielle well, so I have some confidence. They actually brought a lot of good people in Davidoff over the last couple of years too. So I think they have good staff there. But I think Avo is going to get a shot next year.
Their seasonal blends do well when they come out though. Like
those
the
were nice cigars. I like those. Yeah. Those were good. I would have kept them. I would have kept them going.
And they're like a classy cigar. Like especially if people are going to a lounge and they want something that's like, a really decent cigar but doesn't break your bank but isn't like on the lesser end of the amount. Alvo's a good choice for someone.
It is, and they're not, like you said, they don't break the bank. You know, they probably go about up to $15. The core lines, the limited is a little more expensive.
Yeah,
but yeah, they've kind of been stuck in the mud. I think they're trying to figure out what to do since Avo left, and they've tried a few things. And I thought last year when they brought in that DJ Nice, it was gonna be a whole new. I thought it was a smart move. Hey, try to reach out to music fans of more contemporary music now, and I thought that was, but it didn't work out for whatever reason.
Avo was one of the first lines that I smoked like on a regular basis. Like
Me too.
My first cigar was Royal Jamaican when it was still being made in Jamaica. But yeah, Avo was one of the first lines I smoked on a regular basis. But here's what I find interesting, especially now with the struggles about Avo's 100th year. So I had an interesting well, it really wasn't a conversation. I replied in 3 lines and just stopped talking. But someone was asking me about, they're discussing it with their friend who has a shop and would bringing Alejandro Torrent to a shop.
I know this conversation.
So he must have asked 20 people.
Well, it came from me.
I
have a little maybe different spin, but I don't know how he spun it to you, but I know who said this. So
well, hold on. Why guess? Why don't I just tell you verbatim? Hang on, let me find it. Okay, so here it is. Here was the question that was posed to me last night. Would Alejandro Torrent be a draw for an in-store event for Te Amo? Do you think consumers would be more inclined to go to a Te Amo event? I'm asking your opinion because you're successful, blah, 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 and someone's debating with him. Okay. So what do you think my response was?
No.
Right.
Well, I had a different spin on that. I said yes. I think it needs to be promoted in the right way. Where it's not going to draw like Rocky. It's not going to draw.
It won't be. Can't promote it in the right way. Do you know why? This is the problem, because you and I suffer from the same thing.
Right.
There's a part, but I'm retail enough that I see it. I'm like you. At first thought, it triggers. Oh yeah, it'd be cool to see Alejandro Torrent. But you want to know what my next phrase was to him? Unless they're over 55 or 60 years old, no one will give a shit.
Okay, but he didn't tell you the context of the conversation.
Well, I mean, but that's my answer.
Yeah.
Because
okay.
If you're under 50, you don't know what even Te Amo is.
Right. And that was, and I think the thing is that when they relaunched Te Amo, and I think it kind of missed.
It failed.
Part of that was that Alejandro was going to be supporting that brand. That's how it was advertised for like that time, and I didn't really see that happen. And I don't think that's the reason why it failed, but I think that certainly would have hurt if they did do that. I think there were other things that they needed to do with that brand that missed. The price point, I think, came in wrong too. The history of the brand, I think, needed to be talked about more, but it missed. That was just one component of it, is what I was saying.
So, a little feedback here. Te Amo back in the day, and I'm talking during the boom, was fucking one of the hottest selling cigars. Super strong.
Yeah.
Super strong in the East Coast, especially. Okay?
Oh, New York. You couldn't go in the street corner without seeing it.
Let me just tell you something. They were absolutely shit cigars.
Oh yeah.
I mean, do you agree on that or no?
They were not great cigars.
I'm talking about the original Te Amo that came in.
Yeah, they were like,
They were absolutely.
None of us would be wanting to smoke those on a daily.
No, they looked terrible. They were the worst looking cigars. They were all full of smoke. Jess, you're too young to even remember it.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm like,
this is why it wouldn't be a draw today.
Yeah,
but they're one of the biggest and greatest growing family of tobacco. Okay, they grow some of the best San Andreas. They're a tobacco family. Okay, and the reason why their brand was shit, and how it was so, because I got in this business servicing outside accounts, so I was putting Te Amo in no matter where I was opening up an account. Te Amo sold everywhere. Okay, even the packaging. Excuse me. Yep, I think that's only a single sneeze. But even the packaging was awful. Just plain boxes, silk screen black one color, simple paper red band. It was putrid. Okay? But it sold. I have no idea why. But you want to know why the cigar was so putrid? And I don't even know if you know this, Scoop, or not. There was some goofy law that Mexico had
Yeah.
that they couldn't import other countries' tobaccos to make cigars.
Yes. I knew that.
So their cigars were being made with all Mexican tobacco, which really, if you know anything agriculturally, is pretty much grows wrapper. Grows some great wrapper. Other stuff, not so much. So then, of course, the boom ended, and people really their palates got better. People got more into cigars. They realized, God, this cigar sucks. Right? I mean, I would have rather smoked a Swisher Sweet than an old Tiamo, you know. And it was like a peroty looking cigar, even if you can recall it, right? And it just died. It died and disappeared as a brand, went to the wayside, and I don't think the original Tiamo exists anywhere anymore. Then they tried to revitalize it, the international Tiamos, which were good cigars. I remember a couple of them. I can't remember what they called it, but they had regional Tiamos, really nice looking premium handmade cigars. Do you remember this, Coop?
Oh yeah.
Okay, they had these regional Tiamos, but it just never caught traction. And I'm telling you, if you're sorry to ask on air, Jessica, how old are you?
I just turned 47.
Yeah, so you're almost 50. If you're 45 or less, you have no clue who Alejandro Torrente is, unless you heard it because of the farm and the wrapper or Tiamo cigars. So how is it going to be a draw? To who, Coop? No sound, Coop. Are you having sound problems?
No, I had to mute it again. You talked about a couple weeks ago, PCA can't miss events. They needed to do can't miss events with this. Was my point. That was the way. If you're gonna,
how do you make it can't miss?
You have to kind of put a Mexican experience, make it a very experiential event, not a tablecloth event, is what I'll call it. You have to, and that's the way I would have did this because that's the way. Because people do like experiential events. They do.
Yeah,
that's the way I would have did this. Yeah, that's the way I would have went with this.
But then again, it goes back to my point. If they're not coming because of him, you have to make something that they're going to come to.
And that's why I want to be clear. It wasn't like the brand failed because he wasn't there. I'm just saying that was one component of several other things they need to do. It was a higher price Tiamo. So the people my age, who I'm 57, they're not going to necessarily be buying into a $12 Tiamo. The cigar wasn't bad. It was a good cigar. It shouldn't have, but it wasn't even at the trade show this year. I didn't see it. That's why it was like a big, wow, this is gone this year. They weren't promoting it this year. I know they had a lot of other stuff, but yeah.
Interesting. All right, man.
Yeah.
Time is flying. I can't believe we only got 29 minutes left of the show. We got to get some news in. This is when you're having good conversation, man. I just looked at the clock and said, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
All right. How's the news looking today?
A mix of stuff, 5 stories.
All right. Well, that's good enough. It's time to find out. What's the scoop with our dear friend Coop?
Hey, yo, what's my theme music?
The Scoop with Coop. Breaking industry news. Hear it first on KMA Talk Radio and cigar-coop.com.
Coop, have I known, I would have had you send me pictures. I keep forgetting.
Yeah, I forgot that too. I forgot Alex wasn't going to be on, but that's my fault.
All right. What you got going on this week?
All right, we'll kick off with Quesada. The Oktoberfest is back. We saw it at the trade show, and once again,
that's still around.
Yes,
it does very well in my area.
In where? 2 cities?
I'm just saying it's a very well sought out cigar. Okay,
I smoke a lot of Quesada cigars.
I love this.
Hey, listen, we had a micro blend off that series, the Dunkel.
Great cigar, by the way.
Right off the Oktoberfest series. Did it disappear at any point and they bring it back, or has it been going on consistently since Terrence left?
Every year they've had it since 2011. So they made a couple of changes this year. They went back to the blue labels. They were using white labels for a while, but they went back to the blue labels. And they have a size in there. It's called the Salomon press, it's a Salomon that's box pressed in the middle and rounded at the ends. They previously have released that for events only, and this year it's going to be part of the 2025 release to order. So those are the 2 big changes. They've been going with this Mexican blend that they've had for the past 5 years. That's the one they've had. They introduced that for the 10-year anniversary of the Oktoberfest, but that should be starting to hit the stores later this summer.
Was Quesada Cigars on the stock market ticker?
No.
Do you think there's is it being able to be turned around at all?
I think they are. I think I think the girls are going to do a good job there.
I agree.
I think the girls are great for the industry. I think they still need to kind of on a
You
sales.
know the girls. I know the girls, but do the consumers know the girls?
I think
They're starting to.
They're starting
They're starting to.
I haven't
They've been a
seen
lot
it.
more active on social media last year.
See, this is where really people listen. We could take a master class from a guy like Steve Sacco, who pretty much knows all his consumers. Like, I mean, disgustingly, almost on a first name basis. It's like
True.
insane. It's crazy. All his hardcores, but this is where you can win because the major guys will seldom have that advantage over you. And Casada is not a small company by any means, but they are relatively compared to these. They could win, especially if you got these two personalities. I know the girls are lovely girls.
They're doing
And
good cigars too. That's the
We've
thing.
had them at KMA.
Yeah.
I don't think Casada ever made bad cigars, but
No.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Making a good cigar is not enough.
Yeah,
It's not enough in this industry. This is
Do
not
you-
the boom.
Do you think that people maybe know them more as was it Casamanga than Casada?
No.
Like that-
Nobody
No,
even
so-
remembers.
Casamagna.
Casamagna was a brand. They were SAG before.
Oh, okay.
they're
they were
pushing
SAG.
Casamagna a lot now.
Yeah, they are. I noticed that.
Yeah, that's now when you were at the trade show, they had two like pillars, Casamagna and then the stuff branded Casada, and they kind of divided it into two pillars. And they did this Lancero sampler at the show, and they called it the Casamagna Casada Lancero experience, or Casada.
I kind of like that idea, but I mean, how do you let such a titan like Casamagna flake out and die? That's where the mistake happens, because it was a titan. When I say titan, it was a titan of a brand. Casamagna.
It's coming back. I mean, unless they've done a
You could be
Connecticut,
right.
they did a Maduro, I think they're starting to crawl it back.
You could be right. You know, sometimes at my level, once you write something off, we don't look back too often. You know, I'm not looking in the rearview window, so I don't notice sometimes the movement in the back.
And I think they have a really good team too. They have
do.
people who really believe in the brand that are out there really getting people, kind of.
Hector Becerra has done a great job.
Hector is amazing. I love
Yeah.
Hector.
Yeah,
He's
he is their
fantastic.
national sales manager, and he's doing a great job at he's kind of also the ambassador of the brand in a lot
He
of ways.
is. He
Yeah.
is. And he's super personable. Like I know Hector really well. And Juan, who's local here for Florida, super great. And then Brian Diggins, who used to be Kevin's co-host, works for them as well.
Brian's a great guy,
And,
yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Really great group of people.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What else you got going on, Coop?
El Mago showed off something new at the trade show, and this was really cool. It's called Jaguar. So last year they came out with a cigar called the Solstice, which was their Sumatra blend. It was limited. This year they're going with another Sumatra, but it's going to be the Solstice is going to be replaced by a regular production cigar called the Jaguar, and it's named after the Jaguar vehicle that Nick Fusco's grandmother used to drive. So I thought that was pretty cool. The packaging, I wish I could show, is beautiful. It's blue and black. It's got the Jaguar tubes, Jaguar like spotted tubes on it. And it was very, very. I didn't smoke that cigar. It looked very, very impressive there. It is the price point's a little higher on this one. It's $17. It ain't cheap. What
size? What are they doing? Multiple sizes or just one size?
One size, a Toro.
Oh, Toro. Okay.
So I don't know if they'll do-
He also released his own sweet line this year too, didn't he?
Yes and no. The factory is it's the way they explained it. It's called Miami Beach Sweets. They're distributing it. Is the kind of the way they said that.
No.
They said it's made by the fact. So I don't know quite the ownership situation of that. They weren't really, but yeah, it's the word Nick used to me was this is being distributed by El Mago.
Are you sure about that? I'm gonna have to find out.
You can watch the Coop interview.
So he doesn't have anything to do with the production of the cigar?
He does because it's that same factory he's using. But it wasn't
okay.
clear if he owned it. I don't know why they're saying
the ownership's in question. Probably Nick's having it made there and involvement.
Yeah.
You're not sure who actually owns the brand. Or
I'm not sure he actually owns the brand. No,
it might be a partnership with him in the factory.
It might be a partnership with him in the factory. It's but yeah, there's 3 lines and they're gonna be distributing those.
Cool. All right. What else you got going on?
Kind of an interesting thing I saw at DuPont at the trade show. Yeah, everyone knows the Line 2 lighter, the Ping. But there was a Line 1 lighter at one point, and they're bringing back the Line 1 lighter.
Worst one.
The line 1, it's a smaller version of the line 2.
I know, but opening up a line 1 and just hearing nothing.
No, it
not
pings.
even-
It pings. It does.
Oh,
ping.
they made it ping now.
They made it ping this time. Yeah, because the original ones didn't ping, if you remember. Yeah.
Yeah, like when you open it, like, oh, I don't want that. It's like the first thing you say. Where's that? I'm looking for that sound.
Yeah, I got mine. That sound.
There you
go. So
where's my musicians? I think that's a C sharp.
Yeah, see, so that's coming back. There's 3 versions of that they'll be releasing later this year. They're going for, I guess they kind of didn't want to say it, but they kind of said it. It's, I think female smokers, someone that's a little easier to carry, like in a purse or something, but they're not marketing it to females. It really is for anyone who wants a more compact version of it.
What is the coloring of it? Is it they're like normal, traditional, sleek, lacquer a little bit with the metal?
4 colors, black lacquer, the palladium, which is kind of like that silverish, the black lacquer and gold, a yellow gold, and a all palladium.
Oh,
$1,295 though, not cheap.
No.
And by the way, this is a lone lighter. This is a lone lighter by DuPont. I don't own this one, so we're doing it.
But the frustrating thing for me as with lighters, especially DuPont, is the
losing
fuel.
Them?
Yeah, lose it and
losing
if you
them.
lose them. But they're just if something goes wrong with them, it takes a long time to get it either replaced or fixed.
Because they send it to Paris.
See, no, they actually send it to. There's a place in North Carolina. They send it.
That's what I was gonna say. It's one place.
It's in North Carolina. Yeah, it's in North Carolina. They send actually. So I'm a little bit in the backyard with that. But I do. Craig Cass is the local DuPont retailer, and if I go in there and I need something, adjusted on, I have other lighters I do own. Yeah, they take care of
quintessential Southern gentleman.
Craig, he's great.
Yeah, guy. I know Craig a lot.
But I thought it was crazy that there was that one place, like you said, North Carolina, that there needs to be maybe more, because they do. They do last a long time, and I think the few people that have a problem, but it is that they're so intricate that it takes a while. If something goes wrong. Yeah. But have you ever seen their Van Gogh series?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that lighter is. I would buy that if I had stupid money. I would buy.
They got a Superman lighter, which was just I thought one of their stars this year.
Really?
I love that lighter.
The blue lighter with just the super S on it. That was that was that awesome.
I loved it. I would if someone wants to buy me one for Christmas, I'm in. Yeah. I loved it. And I'm not a Superman fan. I love that blue.
It was just awesome. Blue. It was not even a cool color blue pen. It wasn't even like the dark blue. It's like some powder blue.
It was that Superman blue field. I loved it. And it had the gradient effect. I loved it. But that's why they have a ton of designs. So every design's not going to hit everybody.
I just thought they could have done more with a Superman goddamn lighter. I mean, it's Superman for Pete's sake.
I think they were trying
when you open it.
They were probably trying not to make it cartoony-ish.
That's I think what exactly.
It looks more cartoony-ish. It looks like a retro. Google it, Jess. It looks like a retro.
Let me Google it.
Yeah, it looks like a retro,
That's why I liked it. That's why it appealed to me. When I'm a retro guy.
I don't listen to me. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it was an ugly lighter by any means. But I looked at it. I'm like, oh man, they could have done more with that lighter. They could have done more with it. Yeah. So, what else you got, Coop?
Adventura had a line called Blue Eyed Jack's Revenge. I have one Blue Eyed Jack's Revenge. That is a Blue Eyed Jack's Revenge Maduro. Coming in one size, a 50 by 6.5 diadema. And this is going to have a San Andreas wrapper. Very impressive looking cigar. It has that, that you talk about blue. It had that Adventura blue logo that they used on the Blue Eyed Jack's Revenge. And then kind of an interesting thing they're throwing in the box. I wonder where they got this idea, was a challenge coin in there. So if you buy the box, you can get a collectible challenge coin in there. $21 for this cigar, though. Ooh. So not a cheap cigar. And last but not least.
Yes, we absolutely will.
The Kentucky Derby cigar.
Sorry. Well, wrong one. Yes, we will. We'll be getting the treasure chest and the Maduros. Go ahead, Coop.
Romeo Julieta out of Altadis has a Run for the Roses cigar. So last year they did one for the 150th edition of the Kentucky Derby, but it was a kind of an exclusive for the Derby. Like you only can get it, I believe, at the Derby. This year, yes, you'll still be able to get this at the Derby, but now, as Abe mentioned earlier, you're going to be able to get this in the stores as well. So it's coming in coffins as well. I saw them actually making this cigar at the factory in the DR. It's a Nicaraguan puro, but it's being made at the Tabacalera del Garcia factory in Nicaragua. So it will be a limited run of 1,350 boxes, which by Alta standards is small, but by a lot of limiteds it's large. So there'll be plenty of these to go around with that. So there actually is also a Preakness cigar that someone's doing by a company called Stolen Throne. So there is a Preakness cigar this year, which we talked to
Lee Marsh.
Lee Marsh's a great guy. He's doing some good stuff, and he's a Baltimore guy, so that's how he kind of. And that one's also being blessed by the Preakness as well. So it's kind of like their cigar, So he got permission.
Yeah, Stolen Throne, the Crook of the Crown was my #1 cigar a couple years ago, and that he wasn't really even that known yet. And because I love boutique brands, and that's kind of like a thing of mine. And I swear I have bought everything they have. His cigars are great. And
he's doing, he's very hands-on with what he's working with Rojas with the factory with that. But he definitely, he's very. I think he's doing this now full time, if I'm not mistaken. So,
definitely. Yeah,
he's doing very well. He's a good guy, really good guy. Glad to. I've had a chance to interview him at the trade show before. He's a great guy.
Great.
What else you got going on?
That's our news for this week.
That's the news with this news. I don't know where I'm getting this from. That's the scoop with Coop. Please visit cigar-coop.com to always stay up to date with what's going on in the cigar industry. Always teaser and rumor free. Booyah. All right, down. There we go. Got to make sure we can afford to pay the bills now. All right. I tell you, it's really not. There you go. Boop. Now we can talk for a little bit. Well, an interesting news segment. A lot of cool stuff going on.
Yeah. Yep. Stuff still trickling from the trade show.
Are you still posting trade show stuff? Are you still on that?
I'm still posting trade show stuff. I've been working like a dog because I had to prep stuff for traveling. So we're about 2/3 of the way through actually the video piece. So as Jessica could probably tell you, it's an enormous amount of work. It's an enormous amount of work. I just can't tell you. It's scratching my head why we did so much.
Well, because it's like you don't want to not cover something.
You don't want to not cover something, exactly. And
you don't want to be the guy that misses the story that everybody wants to read about.
Yeah.
Nor do you want to be that guy. You take someone's time at the booth, you have to give them something back.
That's true too.
You really do.
Forget. Yeah, that's true too.
And
Abe, you owe me one more piece of info for your article. So,
what? I didn't get it to you.
You didn't get it to me, yeah.
Wait, hold on. Which piece? The photo?
A photo, yeah.
Marissa emailed it to you, bro.
I'll check.
That day you asked me.
Okay, I'll check. That may be my fault.
Because being the guy that I am, I messaged you this morning knowing I was going to talk to you on the show. And I'm like, because I had to get that from somebody who's there, the Zeno brand manager, Law.
Yeah, so, and my photo came out.
Law said I sent it to you, and I checked with Marissa this morning. I said, did you ever get that?
Okay, I'll double check. Like I said, I've been a little buried this week.
Yep. And she said, I did send it to him.
I believe it. I will believe it.
Should have bet you a signed dollar on that one.
No, I would have not. If you would bet me on that, yeah.
I
found it. I have found it, so I can confirm it. Yeah, and because that was a big part of the Great Smoke, right? And Jessica's on here, and I want to kind of mention this because I think the last few years I've met Jessica and Kevin outside in that outdoor area, and it's become a big part of the Great Smoke, in my opinion, that outdoor lounge area. I just love kind of gathering with everyone in there beforehand. It's always been a fun thing, and I think it kind of went.
That's why we try to make it like a gathering place. We have the tents come in, and we usually have the coffee, tobacco.
Drew
activation with the coffee, and then so we kind of make
really,
it.
Really was. I mean, it's part of the experience. It was a big part of something I noticed the last few years, and I haven't talked about it, so I wanted to really talk about that part this year.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it too is because once you get inside, it's a lot. Like you got so much going on, and then people are going to their tables, getting to like the booths and stuff. So like it gives you a chance to really like meet and greet and everyone kind of get to interact on that
Yes,
level.
it really does.
Yeah. I think that makes a huge difference.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, we are in, God, I forget what week. I got to look stuff up, but season 11 of Tale the Type. You know what's funny? Has anybody watched The Floor?
I have not.
Mm-mm.
It's Rob Lowe. It's a game show. It's a game show. It's really cool. It starts out with a 100-person grid floor. Every person has a grid with a category that they're supposed to be an expert in, whether it be, state flags or world currency or whatever. Now, some people lie. They pick a category that's so obscure that they just think no one will challenge them. And then they get challenged and they actually know jack shit about that topic. But it's kind of a cool strategy show. But one of the things was product mascots. I'm like, oh, fuck, bro. We just did this last season. I got this down. We knew them all. We
that's funny.
Yeah, we just did it on Tale the Tape. But I think it's, let me look here. We're at Tale the Tape. I always forget where we end off.
We're at number 6.
6, yeah.
6, yes. We're number 6 this week. Our 6th pick for Tale the Tape. And we're going to run the intro right now. Maybe not. I keep forgetting where all the videos are on this thing. Here we go. All right. All right, let's run the anti-goats first, since I asked for a leaderboard this week and no leaderboard, but
we'll have one by the final week.
Seriously, bro. Yeah, listen, I'm giving him a lot of leeway with this house shit. But let's see who his pick this week was.
What's up, folks? Goat here with my Tale of the Tape pick this week. Best TV dads. This time we're coming in on the darker end of the spectrum. We've got Vern Schillinger from Oz. Now, granted, he's a dirtbag white supremacist and leader of the Aryan Brotherhood inside prison, which already probably puts him about as far from Father of the Year as you can get. But with that being said, when his sons land in the same prison, that's when we see his warped version of fatherhood kick in. Part pride, part control, and part punishment. He's a monster. He's probably top 5 most dislikable TV characters in history. But in his mind, he's trying to raise strong men in his twisted, sick sense of what that means, even if it destroys him in the process. So while maybe not the greatest father, he is doing the best job that he thinks that he can, which unfortunately leads his drug addict children in prison next to him. So maybe he's not such a great father. I don't know about this pick.
What's happening?
That was a lot of jibber jabber there.
Oh
all right, Coop. Who's your pick this week?
Well, this guy, maybe people would have thought he's higher on my list, but when I rated him as a father, and that's kind of where I'm looking at, I wouldn't have put him at number 1. Maybe he's one of my number 1 TV characters of all time, but as a father, I have him at number 6. It's Archie Bunker. I actually think Archie Bunker, there was a lot more dimensions to that character than just him as a father, which made him great. And actually, I think he was the part of him as a grandfather really changed that character a lot too. Like I said, the interactions with his daughter and Meathead were great as well, but not necessarily number 1, but still a great character and still a kind of a good father figure in there, especially some of the stuff with Meathead as that relationship started to soften with the show a bit. So number 6, Archie Bunker.
So I don't know what happened with mine, because my spin on this was, it wasn't about how great of a TV dad you were. It's just which TV dad did I enjoy watching the most, to entertain me the most. I know he was on my list somewhere because I enjoyed watching Archie Bunker as much as anybody, but I don't know if he made the final 10 actually, now that I'm looking at it. But my pick this week at number 6, which, man, I enjoyed watching this guy. Who else better than Red G. Sanford? This guy was great. There was a relationship with Lamont and all these shady and friends and the neighbors and I forgot what the Puerto Rican's name was.
Julio.
Julio.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
This guy, whether he's faking a heart attack or messing with Ernestine's sister-in-law or whatever, Esther, his sister-in-law, he was probably the most entertaining dad. Really, definitely in my top 6. I mean, he was a great dad to watch.
Someone mentioned him.
Still, when I catch reruns, I would love watching it.
Someone, one of the guests, I think, had him, didn't he? I think he came up.
I don't know because I don't have a leaderboard.
Oh, did he? Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
I don't have a leaderboard. I'm going to have a leaderboard by next week now.
Yeah.
Just like I had to get the Coop intro back to the news.
That took a while.
I'm going to make it happen. Yeah, it took me 1 week, Coop.
Yeah.
Once I said I was going to do it, it took me 1 week.
Oh, my gosh.
Jess, any TV dads?
So Fred Rui actually took my very first dad, which was Red Foreman, that I would have picked normally. But so then I was thinking really hard. One I could relate to the most growing up was Dan Connor, like Roseanne, like that TV show is like my family though. Like I feel like the family dynamics, especially with the kids, like it was me, my sister, my brother, like my mom and my dad were, like just hard workers. And like, we all like used to just like tease each other and joke and just, I could relate to that, the whole family. So Dan Connor would probably be the dad that I enjoyed watching the most because I could relate to that.
All right. He's definitely a good dad.
Yeah. He that was his breakout role too. John Goodman.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, John. I didn't really heard of John Goodman till that, and then he did like Fred Flintstone. He did a bunch of other The Babe and stuff like that. Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he didn't really do that many movies that were like. Known.
I really hadn't remembered much of him till that show.
Yeah.
Well, that closes out the bottom 5 of season 11 of Tale of the Tape. Join us next week as we break into the top 5 of TV dads. Should be interesting. And now, as we always like to close out KMA Talk Radio with a very special episode brought to you by the fine folks over at Drew Estate, it's time now to find out, would you rather? All right, let's see here. I think we have a video question here. Is it Pedro or is it going to be Izzy this week? Looks like it's Izzy again. Pedro, man, we got to have a talk with Pedro. Let's see what he's got to say. Yeah, he's on sabbatical. Here we go.
Would you rather have a travel iron or a travel steamer?
Huh?
Yeah, see, like, you just lost all the men.
Yeah, well, you lost me too.
Okay, so first off, who travels with an iron?
That's where I was going with that. If I need one, there's one in the hotel room.
Izzy, we're going to have question counseling Tuesday at 6 p.m. if you want to give me a call. I just want to travel with somebody one day and just like watch them unpack and take an iron out of the fucking suitcase. I'd be like, what the fuck?
I mean, we do bring our own little travel flat irons as women, you just,
I know.
You do your hair, but a clothing one, I'm not sure.
I mean, that is what she's talking about. She's not talking about.
No, she said, and then a steamer. So
I mean, a steamer's
not going to do it. Yeah.
If you're going somewhere where you're not sure they have an iron, and sometimes people don't like the iron. It's very much easier.
Yeah, the little handheld steamers.
Just steam it down, but I mean, I'm gonna go with the steamer.
I guess the same. Yeah.
Me too. I would.
It's lighter. It's light. I'm not going to drag an iron because there's one in a hotel room. That's what I'm just saying.
Plus, steamers has multi-use. I got some leftover bao buns or dumplings, man. I just heat them up in the middle of the night, bro. We're good to go.
Yeah. No, I mean, even like anytime we've ever gone anywhere, I don't think I've ever used any of the stuff that they have. They're not even their blow dryer.
I just want to know what she was thinking. Does she actually know someone that travels with an iron?
I know, maybe they make these little portable compacted ones. I don't know. That was weird. That was
a strange one. That was definitely strange.
That was the strangest question in Would You Rather?
Yeah.
It was.
Because now I'm curious. I want to know if she knows somebody that travels with an iron.
I don't know anyone who's ever traveled with an iron.
But again, too, you travel quite a bit, Coop. So, for you could probably answer that question better than any of us. Like, that's something maybe lots of people do when they travel. I don't know. But every hotel I've ever stayed in has one.
Yeah. I mean, I travel with the no iron shirts, which make it easier.
Yeah.
So, and if I have needed to use an iron, there is one in the hotel, or if something really got wrinkled, I just send it to the cleaner. If I'm there a couple of days. Yeah. So that's just usually easier.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, I've never I don't even have a steamer, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Me neither. I don't even think I have an ironing board.
I don't think we have one either. Yeah.
No.
Which is crazy because like my grandmother used to iron her like bedding and everything, like her sheets, and that's not something we do. We just like wrinkle and all goes
wrinkle-free shirts have changed the world. Yeah.
It's really funny. I have to go back and read the comments because I can't read the comments when I'm doing
Gary's wants to get that Superman lighter.
Well, I tell you what, every year my wife collects fountain pens and nice pens. So every year when I go to the trade show, I pick her out a nice pen and bring her, get it for her as a gift. And she never knows what I get until it shows up. I actually did get her the Superman pen, though. Not because I thought it was awesome looking. I just thought that she'd dig it because she always loved Man of Steel. So I got her Superman
That's very
pen.
nice.
Yep.
That being said, well, anyways, this brings us to our conclusion of this week's episode of KMA Talk Radio. Always the best way to start your Saturday. We hope you had some fun along with us, made you laugh, taught you maybe a thing or two. And Jess, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Jess. Great job.
Oh, you guys are
absolutely.
welcome. I had
did
fun.
Great. Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
Yeah, for joining us this week. I genuinely enjoyed doing the show.
Absolutely, same here.
And glad that you were able to make it.
Sure.
Back next week, the GOAT, KMA Talk Radio. Everybody have a great weekend. Until then, keep it lit. I got to hit the button and do that. Hey, I got to hit the button twice.